everyone, it's me Laura from the Paper Soul. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a quick, I'm still working on my sunflower series, Make a Journal with Me, and I'm getting ready to wrap a lot of things up as far as what I have in the journal. I'm going to do another video after this one, and we're going to go through and just do some finishing touches of the embellishments. But what I wanted to do on this one is just do a quick video of a charm that I wanted to put on this element in the journal. So I hope you've been following along with me. If you haven't already, there's a playlist for the Sunflower series, Make a Journal with Me, and you can watch it start to finish and just kind of see how it comes together. You know, from putting all the pages together and just watching kind of my process as I think about elements that I want to put in a journal and try to, you know, create them and make it happen. So this particular element is a pocket. So what I did is I made a pocket out of a guest check, and I wanted it to be a floating pocket. And I've done some decoupaging on it, and you can see that in the other video. You can still do some journaling on this if you wanted to. Anyway, I just thought I'd do a fun little floating pocket with it. I backed it with coffee dye paper so it's nice and sturdy. It's been sewn around and after I did the decoupaging. And I do have a little card here that I have put in here. You can put other items in there too. But it's going to be sitting in my journal, and how I wanted it to sit, I'm going to tuck it in here, but I wanted it to kind of sit to the edge, and I'm going to hang a charm from this edge right here, and it'll hang outside the journal. So that's what I kind of just wanted to do in this little video. I'm going to push this aside just because it's a different flow to doing some charms and stuff. And I was just I pulled a few beads out, some Swarovski crystals, and you know, just some beads that I have. I have done journaling in the past, I have done jewelry making in the past, and so I have a lot of jewelry supplies, and I do have a jewelry shop on Etsy, but it has not been open for a while. I've been on a vacation mode for a very long time. And I do think I may want to get kind of going on it again at some point, but that just hasn't happened as of yet. But anyway, so that's where we are with that. So what I wanted to do is I want to put an eyelet right here in this corner of this. And I also am making sure, because once I cinch that down, that's going to be from the back and the front. Once I cinch it down, I don't want this card to get in the way. I want to make sure there's room for my card. So I'm just trying to eyeball, you know, about where I need that. And I think if I do that right there, I should be okay. So I'm just going to put a little dot right here because I want to make sure I come in enough where I don't cut my threads when I put my eyelet in, okay? So let me just check it. Yeah, I think that should do the trick. That's enough, and still this can come in and out. Okay, so I have my crocodile, and this is like I believe a 3/16 of an inch eyelet, and so that's just a nice little size. And so I find my measurement on my crocodile, and I'm just going to come in and cut the hole first, create the hole first. And now when I'm looking at that, I probably am going to have to come in a little more because the threads, yeah, that's not far enough in. So I'm going to just kind of come a little more in so I'm not cutting my sewing thread. Let's see. So let's try that. There we go, that's perfect. So I have my hole. I did bring my pokey tool in with me so that I can pop that little piece of paper out of there. It gets stuck in there sometimes. I have moved my set into my craft room. I've been working at my table, and there's more room in there, but I've tried to clear my place up a little bit. I'm still trying to clean it good and everything. So the next thing you would do, since that's the front, is I'm just going to pop that in there. And I already have my crocodile pretty much set here, but you can move these around for different size eyelets and stuff, but I believe mine's already set. What you're going to want is the flatter, smushier part. It's like a more of a dome shape. You're going to want that on the back so that it'll squish the back of this and flatten it for you. Okay, so I'm going to line that up and then just press. And there it is. It's in there. Let's check my card. My little card. There we go. And that will still clear that just perfect. Okay, so I have my eyelet in that floating pocket now, and I'm going to see about decorating and hanging. So my little charms. So what I have is some jump rings, and I've kind of been playing with it, trying to see what I wanted to do. I think the first one I'll make, I have a sunflower charm. It's a bronzed, antique bronze charm. And then I have some of these crystals. And the crystals reminded me of the color of sunflower petals. So I just, kind of thought I would make a charm out of those. And we'll need to use some of my para wire, which is also vintage bronze wire. It's non-tarnish. This is a 26 gauge, so it'll move pretty flexibly. So I have a little, and I think, let me think. There's several ways you can do this. I could just run this through my beads and put a loop on each end and string the loop, put the loop on here, and then put the charm on the end of the other loop, which is probably what I'll do. I could somehow run this through, and I don't know if 2 thicknesses of this will go through these holes, and that's why I'm thinking what I may do is just make a little end on those, and then we'll deal with the other elements first. I also have like a little leaf that I thought I'd hang, so like a little sunflower leaf, and I just thought that would be a pretty charm for this particular journal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut me some of this wire off, and I don't know if you can see it good enough, or if I need me a little white piece of paper here where you can see my little wire here. Okay, so I'll move those out of the way. So I'm just going to cut, I think, that length right there, about just 5 inches, and I probably don't even need that much, but I just wanted enough to work with without running into trouble. I could always cut off more if I did. I have flat nose pliers and then some round nose pliers, and those kind of help me do the cinching and the circles and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to want to make a loop on one end, okay? And I'm going to come down, when you make a loop, you're going to want enough wire to wrap around. So I'm just going to bend that. This 26 is pretty pliable, which is nice, okay? So I just bend it perpendicular, and then I'm going to take it and rearrange it on my round nose pliers, okay? And I'm going to, this is so easy, I can take my fingers and just wrap around like this, okay? And what I'm going to want to do is make sure my loop is going to just, once I'm done, I can just, put that on my jump ring, and that's actually perfect. So the first one I'm going to do, you can see, I've just, like I say, I've just wrapped it like that, and then I'm going to go on, and you can take your pliers for this other part and just wrap this around the long part of the wire and just get you a nice little loop there that's secure. And that's going to hold, okay? I probably should have my glasses on for this because this can be tedious. Okay, let me do this. Yeah, I like to try to get my wrapping nice and smooth so it looks pretty. And then what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll trim this off. So I'm going to trim that little tail off right there with my cutter. Just nip it. And then you can take, to flatten that little tail that you have sitting there, it's just kind of, you don't want it to scratch you or be sticking out, then you can take your flat nose pliers and just kind of swish that down, just smush it down flat, flush with the wire. So now I have a little loop here that's going to be able to go on my jump ring. And let me make sure this jump ring is going to be suitable. I might need a larger one, we'll have to see. Okay, so that one is actually, let me think. If I close that, how much room do I have? Let me test this one, because I may need a larger one. I'm gonna just close this on here and just see how much wiggle room I have. I just want to see how much wiggle room I have. Kind of not a lot, so you can still dangle that from there. I can still hang those from there, but I think I needed, let me do something different. I may need a larger jump ring, and or if it sets to the side like that and I still close it, these could just hang from there. So it still may be all right, because I can still hang that from there. We'll try it. If in the end I need to add a bigger one, I will, but we'll just, I'm gonna leave that the way it is now because it's still open before I close it. Okay, so we'll just see how it works. So then I'm going to take, I've got two sizes here of my beads, my crystals. I have a real pale yellow, jonquil, I think is the color of it, and I'm just gonna string that on. And then I have my other size. I'm gonna check, make sure, yeah, I'm in frame. It's kind of a limey yellow, but it's mostly, it just really does look like a pretty yellow of sunflower petals, so it's a little bit larger. Two of them are bicones. It's a bicone. The little ones are bicones, and then this one, the other one in the middle is round. So I'm just stringing those on. So now I have my little setup there with my beads, and I'm going to form a loop on this end so that I can hang my little sunflower charm from it. So what I do is kind of what I did a while ago. I turn this upside down with all that wire there, and then I'm going to take my, just kind of sandwich it, and depending on how, you know, much of a, I don't know that I want, it doesn't, if I match it to that loop, that's fine. If it's not perfect, that's okay. Just needs to be, you know, nice. I just like to make sure that they're nice and even. So I just fold this over kind of perpendicular. See what I mean? So I just fold it over there like that. And then I reposition it. Actually, a lot of times I like to hold this in my hand like that. So I just kind of reposition it this way where my wire is in between again, but I can just turn it and wrap it. I might come up just a teeny just to give myself some room. So I just kind of wrap it on around to start forming my circle there. Now, I haven't wrapped it yet because before I wrap it, I want to put this on, okay? So I'm just kind of looking at my size and seeing if it looks pretty good. It'll be a little bit smaller once I start wrapping that. Okay, so once I get it like that, I just get it crossed over, then I have enough room to slide this on. Now, the dangle will be hanging like this. So I'm gonna put this on, and depending on the way you put it, I'm gonna test it. You know, whatever I do when I hang it, I'm gonna want that charm to kind of be able to be in the front. And I may have to move it around once I finish wrapping it. So let's go ahead and get this wrapped. My charm is on, and then I'm just going to hold it with these pliers, and I'm going to do my wrapping. And this, like I said, this is nice wire to work with for small projects and stuff, that you can kind of move it. It's malleable with your hands and things like that. So now I'm going to nip this little tail off so that I can further tamp that down. So I'm going to try to get it as close as I can. Cut that wire off. And then I'm going to take my little flat nose pliers and just kind of hold this with my hand, and I'm going to just kind of press that wire down a little bit further so that you don't, just kind of pinch it down. And you just kind of have to be a little careful with this part because you don't want to crush your crystal. And there you have that, okay? So now I have my dangle, okay, and it's got my little sunflower charm. Now the only thing I would do, like if I was to come along and put this on, just making sure it's directional the way you want it to be. If I put that there on here, and then I want to see how it's going to hang, then hanging it that way, it looks like it's going to hang backwards. So let me try flipping it and hanging it this way and see if that makes a difference. It's so funny. It usually does not make, there it goes. That makes a difference. Let's see. That way makes a difference. And so it's hanging straight with the front of that charm showing through. So that's just make sure you kind of do that when you're doing charms, making sure. If this was not going to hang the right way at all, you can always come in and kind of tweak your little loop a little bit. You can twist it or do whatever you need to do to make sure that charm hangs straight, okay? Yeah, I like that. I think that's doing good. Okay, and before I close this up, I'm gonna do my other charm. Okay, so I'm gonna just take this off and kind of lay it here so I'll know how I want to put that on. But anyway, we'll fix that. So then the other thing I'm gonna do is a leaf. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of have a leaf hanging here, a green leaf, and then that pretty little charm there for this. So I have head pins. Head pins have, it's a piece of wire that you can string your beads on, and it has a flat stopper. Basically, it's kind of flattened out there so that once you put it through your bead or string your bead on it, it stops it and it's not going to fall off. So that's what I was going to do with that one. And instead of using this wire, I was just going to use my little head pin. So same thing here. I'm just going to make a loop, and I'll probably just make it large enough to loop onto there and hang on beside my other little charm. So let me get my glasses back on. That close-up stuff you kind of need. Okay, so now I have it, and that's how it's going to hang, okay? And I'm going to do what I did before. Take my round nose and just kind of put it over there, like just push it horizontal, that wire horizontal, okay? Put a bend in it. And then I'm gonna take it, I like to do from the other side. And this particular bead, some beads have a right and a wrong. This is perfect on both sides, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to make sure, I want to make sure that it's going to be a large enough loop so that it has room to kind of dangle and it's not just stifled. So I'm going to kind of wrap that on around. And let's just see what we're looking at. And then I take my plier, my flat nose plier, and just kind of pull a little bit. Just mess with it a little bit and start centering that loop, okay? Put that back on there, and then I'm gonna start wrapping. I wanna make sure the loop is large enough to slip onto my jump ring. And you can adjust this again while you're trying to tighten that down, and just flatten that wrap on around and secure it. And I'm gonna move it this way. Okay, so you just kind of mess with it, like I said, and you're just playing around with it. So there it is there. Let me see if I can show you these up close. There's that one. And then this one, let me get my paper. So here's this one and here's this one. And see, let me see how close you can tell. See if you look at it. There's that little dangle, and then there's my leaf. Okay. And so, like I say, you just use these to twist it, wrap it around it, make a nice little loop, and tamp it down and press the ends in so that they're not scratchy and that the loop is nice and secure. So that's all you do there. So let's just see what this looks like, kind of hanging these on here like this. Let's see. That. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is put the leaf on first. Okay. And then I'm going to put my little sunflower dangle on. And that looks cute. And now I'm going to close this jump ring up pretty good. So got my flat nose plier, and I just use these two. These are my round nose. So I just kind of hold this one still, and then kind of move this one in. And you kind of want to squeeze them together and then make sure that they're flush. And if you have trouble with it, you can, like I say, just kind of keep pushing. I'm sorry for the... You have to kind of work it a little bit because I want to make sure it is flush and that seam is closed so that these are not able to fall off. So that's what you want. Okay. And you know, like I say, you just have to kind of struggle with it a little bit. But there are my little beads, and or my little dangles. So let's just see what I think about that. Let's see. I mean, that might be pretty hanging off the side of a journal. Let's just see. A little floating pocket. And then I have my journal is definitely getting yeah, you can kind of see them in there, but like if it's hanging straight, it'll be hanging at, you know, on the edge. On the edge, you'll be able to see that little dangle. Okay, so I just thought that would be something extra cute to, as you're flipping pages, to come to and see the little dangle on that, and I thought that would be a lot of fun. If you have any questions for me, let me know. I know that might have been hard to see, but I did try to explain. But I just wanted to show you how I did that, so that when I go through this particular journal, you'll remember that we did, you know, we did a little video on it, and you now know how to do that. If you've got a few little basic, you'll need a wire cutter and a few little basic tools. You don't have to have a whole lot, and then just a few little beads, and that should do it for you. I hope that was kind of a fun little sidekick video for you, and in the next one I'm going to resume embellishing and putting laces and ribbons on, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.